Hello, hello. I'm back again. So we do have that we're going to be going over the traveler sheet today. So we do have that ready. And so basically this is the front here, right? So as you can see, there's a lot going on. But the main point is you'll actually be looking at. Stand up here, make it easier. There we go. Okay, so you'll actually be looking at this little thing right here, and this is actually the order of operations really for our traveler. So as you can see, they start with a passive. The passive is listed there at the bottom. Coriana gains an additional pyramid roll, and that question mark means that you're just rolling and seeing what you get. So you multiply that times 10 blood at the beginning of the game and at the end of each chapter. So at the beginning of the game, you'll roll and get an additional blood, and that blood will actually go up here at the top, right? And that's going to be what's listed there is your maximum blood, beginning maximum blood, but you gain additional maximum blood after that. Yep. So, but yeah, and so basically after you defeat an enemy summon, then you'll actually be able to gain more blood as well on this character or on this traveler, and and then you'll actually have potions as well. Potions are really cool because I know we talked about it in the last video, but potions are really cool because there's really no negative effects and you can use them at any time. So very, very cool. Then you'll actually, and that's saying that if you do have a potion, right? So if you haven't drawn a potion yet, then don't worry about that. It's just a moment where it'll kind of remind you, hey, you can use your potion if you need it. Then you have the world. That is specifically when the world happens. So you'll actually look at the world, if there is one, and see what's happening in the world and see if that affects you. Then you'll draw your happen, and that'll just be one happen unless you have something else going on. And then that'll be your motive. So if you do have a motive attached to you, then you'll actually go ahead and use that. There can only be one motive per traveler at any time. Then you'll be using your looms if you have them. Now, the cool thing about looms is you get one right off the bat. So for Coriana, she's going to actually have the magical sieve. And you can see that you can, if you roll a pyramid roll there, and you just multiply that by 20, and that will deal that amount of damage. So like let's say you roll a 2, that'll be a 40 blood rip to the enemy. And then, or you can choose an extra happen as well. So it's up to you, whichever one you want to do. Now, that is an extra as an additional happen. So then you have your actions. And your actions are these 4 actions right here. So you've got action 1. And basically, if you roll a certain number, then you can deal a lot of damage to the enemy. You have action 2. That will be kind of a chain. And so if you roll a certain number, which is 3 or higher, there we go. Well, okay, there we go. Oh, 2 or higher. Sorry about that. It just was blurry. Then it will allow you to just continue the chain, and you just continue until you finish the chain. And then 3 is more of a sewing spell. So you can actually do shells on that one, or you can bring somebody back from the dead if they roll a certain number. And then this one makes her a stone so that she can actually she can't take any blood rip from herself for a whole round. So once it's her turn again, then that goes away. So that's kind of the general idea of the travelers. And on the back is where you go when you die. So when you die, you go to Masamao. And on this one, it's a lot more simple. you can do this these actions here whenever you're here, once it's your turn. And that way you're still impactful in the battle. And otherwise, if you roll 1 and a 1 again, then you'll actually rebirth as a Chinhua, and you'll actually attack your allies until you die, and you cannot draw happens. But once you die, you come back here and you're no longer a Chinhua. And so sometimes it's easier to kill your friend Traveler to be able to come back, or allow them to come back normally, depending on how powerful they are. And then sometimes it's better just to finish off the summon. It all kind of depends. And then this one's the Death Birth. So if you roll a 2, and then you roll a 2 or higher, then you actually draw the Death Birth card. Okay, and this one is kind of a standard rebirth. If you roll a 3 and then you roll a 3 or higher, you just rebirth. You awaken like nothing ever happened. And then finally, this is the Life Birth. And that means that if you roll a 4 and then a 4 again, then you're able to draw a Life Birth, and something really cool is going to happen to you. So it's going to be always good on that one. Yeah, and if you do not meet those, then you failed your rebirth. Now you still do have this card. This is the Forever Death card. And so the Forever Death card, what that does is if you flip this, and you can flip this at any time, then your maximum blood is halved, and you come back, but it's basically like a all-in card, because after that, after you die, after using this card, then you can no longer use a Masamao to rebirth. Now you'll still be in a Masamao, and you can still use your abilities, but you won't be able to get back into the game in any way, even if a player, or even if another player tries to resurrect you and rebirth you that way. It just doesn't have any effect, because you made that choice to go all in with the Forever Death card. But yeah, that's pretty much all I've got. Blood, we use gems for that. We have several different kinds of gems. There's a gem for 10 blood, gem for 50 blood, 100 blood, 500 blood, and then there are gems that are basically like block gems. So, like, for example, just kind of a place marker for you to say, hey, I'm immune to Blood Rip. Like, for example, Coriana, her number 4 move, that one, or 4 action, that one is, like that. You would want to put a gem there to display that, hey, this is active right now. But yeah, I hope you guys liked it. So, yeah, thank you.